She wasn't what most ordinary people would consider a princess. She didn't often wear pretty dresses or sparkles. She was more a tomboy, dressed in dungarees and boots, and she loved to explore. Her name is Riley, and she's 8 years old. One of Riley's favorite places to explore is the bottom of her grandma's garden. You can bet that every time she visits Grandma's place, she will be there in the rather overgrown woodland, spending time with the tiny creatures that live there. No one really knows the games she plays or the memories she is making there, but she will often return inside after a few hours of play, happy, but rather grubby. She might come in with a tiny bunch of Grandma's flowers and sometimes come in a babbles about her adventures, but she doesn't always make a lot of sense, as many of her stories are told in whispers, as if she is telling them to a secret friend. This weekend at Grandma's was an adventure that started off like all the others. Riley finished her breakfast, got dressed, and went out to play in the garden. Off she wandered to her favorite place to begin exploring. This time she brought a jar that Grandma had given her so she could catch some of the ladybugs and insects she had seen on previous visits. As Riley sat on her favorite log, she began looking for creatures she could catch and keep as pets in her jar. Creatures that she could show to Grandma and keep in her room at home. There, on a leaf, just inches away, was a ladybug, red with black spots on its back. Riley's eyes lit up and she slowly creeped to catch the tiny creature. "Got you!" she exclaimed, and quickly closed the lid, trapping the ladybug inside. Just as she closed the lid, she was startled by something sparkly flying past. It shined so bright, like glitter in the sunlight, and circled twice, stopping just in front of Riley's nose. Riley squinted, trying to focus, and as her eyes began to make sense of what was in front of her, she heard a quiet voice, a voice that said, "Please let her go. Please, she is our friend and can't live inside a jar." As the voice came into focus, she saw it was a woodland fairy. "Why, hello," said Riley. "Who are you?" "I'm Ain," replied the fairy, "and that's our friend you have trapped in the jar." "Our friend?" "Yes, there are many of us here, but we don't like to be seen, so we hide out of sight in the deepest part of the garden where humans cannot go." Feeling bad for capturing the fairy's friend, Riley quickly took the lid off the jar and let the tiny ladybug go. "Thank you," said Ain, and began to fly off. "Wait," said Riley. "Please stop and talk with me. I don't have any friends here at Grandma's place, and I've never seen a real fairy before." Ain sat on a yellow flower just near Riley and began to talk about the smallest of things that live in the place Riley was unable to go. She talked about fairies and their friends who work to keep the woodland alive. She talked about the adventures she has that no human could ever see, only imagine, and she spoke about the magic they do to help things grow and keep their tiny world flourishing. "I want to see it," said Riley. "I want to see where you live, and I want to be your friend." "Oh, that will take some real magic," said Ain. "Magic that I cannot do." "Oh, please," said Riley, "please show me." Ain thought, and she thought. "Come back tomorrow," she said, and off she went. Excited, Riley went back to the house. "Grandma, Grandma," she called. And when Grandma came, Riley tried to tell all about Ain and about her latest visit to the bottom of the garden. In the usual grandma voice, Grandma said, "That's nice, dear," and went back to her knitting. Sunday came, and Riley did what she normally did, but today was even more exciting. She hardly finished breakfast, and she was already out the door. Calling for Ain, she was excited and eager. "Ain," she called, "Ain, are you here? It's Riley." A few moments passed, and Riley saw the sparkles in the sunlight, this time two and then a third. 3 fairies flew past and landed right next to Riley. "Riley, these are my friends Nada and Kaya, and we have something for you." Kaya reached behind Nada's back and held up a tiny lolly, not a typical blue, or red, or even a yellow lolly. This lolly sparkled, like the fairies did in the sunlight. In fact, you couldn't see any one color at all. Ain said to Riley, "When I went back to my friends yesterday, I spoke about you and said how kind and friendly you are. and then asked if there was any magic that would make it possible for you to come and visit us in our place, deep in the garden. "This is it," said Kaya. "This is the magic that will make you small, but it won't last forever. The magic will only last while the lolly lasts." Riley took the tiny lolly, thought for a moment, looked at her new friends, and put the lolly to her lips. "Lick it," said Nida. "Go on," said Anna. So Riley licked the lolly. Just as she licked the lolly, the magic happened, and Riley was as now small as her new friends, not able to fly. She followed her friends on foot as fast as she could. But it's hard to run in gum boots. "Hold up for a sec," she said, and took off her boots. She ran and she ran, following as close as she could, into the deep corner of the garden where no human has ever been. Moving through the giant flowers and underneath the enormous mushrooms, the outside world didn't exist anymore. Riley was in this wonderland of magic and color. There were things she couldn't have even imagined. Creatures she had never seen. Fairies everywhere glittering in the sunlight, flying fast over and under flowers and twigs, and there were tiny houses made from moss and bark. Riley played and listened to stories, and of course told some of her own. She explored, she made new friends, and had such a marvelous time. But the magic would soon be over, as Riley has almost finished her lolly. There was just a little magic left on the stick. "Come on," said Ain. "It's time to go. The magic will soon end, and you will be big again." With sadness, Riley said goodbye to her new friends and followed Ain back into the grown-up world. She sat on her log as the lolly ran out, and she returned to being big again. Feeling a little sad that the adventure was over, Riley asked, "Can I go back again next time I come to Grandma's house?" "Of course you can," replied Ain. "You're our friend. We can always make another magic lolly, maybe one that lasts longer next time." Riley heard her grandmother calling in the distance. "I haven't go now," said Riley, "but I'll come back soon."